Welcome to Shua Machshava and the Daf. The month of Elul is sponsored by the Mandelbaum family. Leilui Nishmas, Rabbi Chaim ben Rabbi Yod Tzvi Halevi. We're holding in Chulin Daf Kuf Yud. The Gemara on the end of Amud Aleph brings a story of Rami bar Tamre to Rami bar Dekuli, who came from Popedisa to Surah on Erev Yom Kippur. Now in Surah they didn't eat kachle, they didn't eat the udder, so they threw it out. So he took all the udders everybody threw out and he went and ate it. And the Gemara goes on with a long story that he brought in front of Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda asked, how did you eat it? You have to be Noeg L'chumra in this place. He ate it out of the city. How exactly did he cook the udder? And this led to questions of why he's not wearing tefillin, why he's not wearing tzitzis. And then there was someone who they're about to punish for not doing kibbud aveim, who he stopped them. And by then, Rav Chizda told him, I see you very smart. So he says, if I would be in my place by Rav Yehuda, my Rebbe, you would see I'm much smarter. Now in the Chasam Sofer, in the end of Maseches Chulin, it's brought down a very long shtickle to explain this Gemara and to explain how every piece of the Gemara is shaykh to a certain Mahalach. And let's try to bring here some of what's brought down there. So Chasam Sofer starts with several questions. One of the questions is, that's what happens Erev Yom Kippur. Erev Yom Kippur, he's going around looking for free udders that are in the street, and he goes out of the tchum, right? He travels out of the tchum to go and eat them. That's what he's busy with Erev Yom Kippur. And then at the end of the story, he says, I'm seeing you such a charif. I see you so smart. How do you see you so smart? And what is the answer? The answer is, if I would be in my place, I'm even smarter. What is the Baal Gaiva? He's telling him, oh, you think I'm smart? You don't even know how smart I am. So what's pshat in all this? The Chasam goes on to say that the charifus that we're talking about at the end of the sugya is based on what he heard from his Rebbe, Rav Nosson Adler. The one does not become fully developed in his mind while he's under his Rebbe. When a person is under his Rebbe, he's subject to his Rebbe. He doesn't fully develop his mind. To be a full charifus, you have to be away from your Rebbe. So Rav Chizda is telling Rami, I see you're so smart. I see you're fully developed in your mind. That means you're not going back to your Rebbe. If you're not going back to your Rebbe, how are you eating kachle? How are you eating the udder? The udder you eat only in Papadiso, but right now you're in Surah and you're not going back. So that's what Rami says. You don't understand. You think that I gotten out to my fullest development? No. If I go back to the city of Rabbi Yehuda, you'll see that there's so much more for me to be charif. I have so much more to get from my Rebbe in order to develop my mind even more. So I have much more to get from my Rebbe, so I'm still considering to go back. I still belong to Pamadis. And continues the Chasam Sofer and explains, by Richus Gedoyla, well, the main Yisoid he comes to say is like this. He wants to say that what we learned earlier in the Gemara, that anything that is asur, there is a heta keneged zeh. What's the idea? So he brings the pshat we mentioned in the previous year, the lo dibra Torah keneged yetzer hara, similar to Yefas Toya, meaning Hakadosh Baruch Hu gave us some kind of a opening to be able to overcome the yetzer hara. The yetzer hara tells a person, you have no way to enjoy these and these things. Tell him there is something we can enjoy. But says the Chasam Sofer, that is only for someone who is not fully a tzaddik. So he has a big yetzer hara, and he needs to some way to give a little bit of an opening for his yetzer hara. But someone who's a tzaddik gomer, and he still goes and does these things which are just for the yetzer hara, then there's a big taina on him. That's something very wrong. And then he goes to explain, this is negat to this week's parsha, that we know that Eishes Yefas Toyar is something that dibra Torah connected to yetzer hara. But it says that someone who marries Yefas Toyar will have a ben soiru mori coming out of him. The Torah says it's mutter, and you will have a ben soiru mori coming out of him. It says it depends why a person does it. If he does it because he feels he needs it for his yetzer hara, so he does l'shem shamayim to cool down the eagerness of the yetzer hara, then he's doing something which is okay. Nothing bad will happen. But if he doesn't really need it and he still does it, then there'll come a ben soiru mori coming out of this dibra Torah connected yetzer hara. And with that, he goes on to explain the pshat in David HaMelech, Ayin Sham. Continues, he says like this. He says, the Shloh explains, the idea of the achila that we have in Erev Yom Kippur is somewhat the concept of lo dibra Torah keneged yetzer hara. You're coming to Yom Kippur, you're going to fast, you're going to become like a Mahalach, you're going to become completely separated from all ta'anugi olam hazeh. A person's going to feel deprived. He's going to feel, I can't enjoy this world. So we tell him in Erev Yom Kippur, go ahead and eat and indulge and enjoy. So the whole Erev Yom Kippur Zog the Chasam Sofer is a din of Lo Dibur Torah El Keneged Yitzhara. So that's why Rami was so busy in Erev Yom Kippur to eat Chal. Because what is Chal? What is the other? Lo Dibur Torah El Keneged Yitzhara. Whatever a Torah was Oiser gave you something ahead to Keneged. That's part of the list that we saw in the previous daf. So Erev Yom Kippur, which is called Kula Lo Dibur Torah El Keneged Yitzhara, that's when Rami is busy eating Kechal, which is Lo Dibur Torah El Keneged Yitzhara. So with that, he goes on to explain the end of the Gemara in another way. Because Kalm Rav Chizdan tells him, but I see you Chariv Tuva. You're perfect. You're Mamash Tzaddik. So why do you go and need this Lo Dibur Torah El Keneged Yitzhara? He said, I'm not so perfect. If you come to the city of Reb Yehuda, you'll see I have much more to develop. I'm missing things. I do have the Inyan to come and take care of my Yitzhara. So that is the general Mahalach the Chasam Sofer has to explain our sugya. And just to add one more thing over here to explain some of the other details of the sugya, we bring what's brought down the Sefer Shari Socher of the Munkach Rebbe, the Baal Minchas Elazar. So he says that all what's going on over here, what's happening in the sugya. You see, the Rami is coming to say, they asked him, how do you cook chal? He said, I use things, it's not gezel because it's after 12 months. And you don't have to wear tefillin because if you have a sickness in your stomach, you don't have to wear tefillin. You don't have to put in tzitzis if it's a stala shulo. And someone is not mechabad aveim, you don't have to punish him. All that is a limud zchus klal Yisrael. We're talking about avodah of Erev Yom Kippur. So what he's doing is to limud zchus klal Yisrael. There's many different averas that could be, but you can explain them so many ways to show it's not an avera. So this connects beautifully with the Chasam Sofer because it's the avodah of Erev Yom Kippur. Rami is really busy now in taking care of all the avodah that needs to be done at Erev Yom Kippur. Ayin Heitev Badvorim. Anyone who wants to join or sponsor the Shomach Shava Shiurim, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.